When it comes to the Western Conference in 2024, it is debatably the deepest conference since the early 2000s. And looking at the lower seeds like a Golden State, Sacramento, New Orleans, and LA, who they play in the first round, if they succeed in the first round, will largely be determined on their matchups. And I'm sure, as you guys know, when it comes to playoffs, matchups are everything. But even with that being said, a lot of ESPN hosts, Fox Sports hosts, are openly suggesting the Lakers should tank their game versus the Pelicans to avoid the Denver Nuggets.
Come here. Let's take a seat. I'm about to give you the dumbest, smart sports take you will hear all day. The Los Angeles Lakers should intentionally lose their first play-in game.
The Lakers should not play tomorrow night. They should not play LeBron. They should not play AD. They do not want to be the 7 seed. You want to be the 8.
Having two prominent figures in the sports media argue a professional sports team like the Lakers, an iconic franchise, should duck Denver, tuck their tail, and run. It's absolutely disgraceful. If the Lakers are so dominant, so great, such a threat in the Western Conference, they shouldn't be ducking anybody. And when it comes to teams in really any sport, finagling for seeding certain matchups, looking back in history, has that ever worked out? The Clippers back in 2021, they tried doing this to avoid the Lakers, dropping to the 4th seed when LA was the 2nd seed. And again, the basketball gods, basketball karma, whatever you want to call it, it bit LA in the butt because Kawhi Leonard got hurt and missed the Western Conference Finals. If you played sports at any level, recreation, elementary, high school, college, doesn't matter. If you're a competitive person of competitive bone in your body, losing on purpose, it's not in your DNA and it's not even an option on the table. And if I was a Lakers fan, I'd say give me Denver round 1. Maybe Jokic is rusty, Jamal Murray doesn't have it going, maybe something crazy happens and LA pulls an upset. If you're actually thinking straight, thinking critically, I would say if you're a Lakers fan, you want Denver round 1 and not in the West Finals when they're clicking on all cylinders. And looking at Nikola Jokic, why the media fears him, teams fear him, is in the 4th quarter in the late game situations, this guy always makes the right play and the winning play. As looking back at the West Finals last year, all those games were close and competitive down to the 4th quarter. But what happened? Jokic in the big time moments stepped up and LeBron Anthony Davis shrunk under the spotlight. And if you want to say who's the most clutch player in the NBA, in terms of game winners, big time shots, Jokic, I wouldn't say he's that definition of clutch. But if you look at his stats in the 4th quarter, how effective he is late in games, debatably the best closer in the game. Jokic in the 4th quarter, his offensive rating, 122.4, first in the NBA. Net rating, first. True shooting percentage of 65.0. Points per game, tied for 13th at SGA at 6.3. In terms of plus minus, plus 2.3, ranked 2nd, behind Jalen Brunson. Jokic might not have the Kobe-esque game winners for the 4th quarter stats of someone like De'Aaron Fox. But late in the game, who do you want, who do you fear? Nikola Jokic is the answer to both those questions. And one thing I do want to touch on is the MVP race. And look, I understand it, it's gotten old, stale, but just indulge me for 1 second. The results we know so far, out of 16 first place votes, Jokic has gotten 13. So, in essence, he's going to win his 3rd MVP in 4 seasons. Now, looking at those 3 votes who didn't pick Jokic, one of them went to Luka and Chris Broussard, and the other 2 went to SGA. Now, take a wild guess. Which 2 basketball savants, just basketball masterminds, voted for SGA as the MVP? Of course, Kendrick Perkins and Stephen A. Smith. If there was a microcosm of sports media, this right here is just Exhibit A. These 2 guys in the same boat, picking SGA over Luka and Nikola Jokic. And when it comes to being a voter of these awards, I don't know if it's randomly they just pick people to do it, but Stephen A. Smith, Kendrick Perkins, for a long time, terrible picks every single season. Look at Stephen A. Smith last year. Embiid 1, Giannis 2, Jokic 3. Kendrick Perkins, kinda similar. Giannis 1, Joel 2, Jokic 3. Stephen A. Smith and Perkins just whiffing on the MVP. I mean, it's a pretty lengthy history of both these guys having awful picks. And looking past those two buffoons, onto Fox Sports' undisputed Keyshawn, Rick Bucher, Skip Bayless. Somehow, it gets even worse.
It's such a tricky word there, Skip. And for those who don't know, the MVP ballot has 5. You put 5 names on it. You don't vote for just one. I've never put...
But in order, or you...
In order,
yeah, okay.
1 through 5.
Yeah.
I've never put Nikola Jokic at the top of my ballot.
So, stopping right there, Rick Bucher just outed himself to the whole world. He doesn't know basketball or deserve a vote for MVP. And looking at his past voting, 2023, first Embiid, second Jokic, 3 Giannis. 2022, Joel first, Jokic second, Giannis third. Again, got it wrong. 2021, Giannis first, Jokic second, Embiid third. 3 straight years this dude got the MVP wrong. If you want to say Jokic maybe only deserved 1 MVP, 2021 or 22, but not all 3, that's fair, you can say that. But to not pick Jokic for any of those awards, I mean, that's pretty mind-blowing, an indictment of the NBA media.
From Jokic. I mean, I'm not I like his game. I like basketball, so I like his game, but it's bland, but it's effective.
Mm-hmm.
It's much like you say, when you look at it, it's like he didn't, for some people, to oppose his will onto the opponent, but he didn't have to aggressively. Because every time you look up, his box scores at the end of the night says something different than what you actually saw with your eyes.
Now, stopping it right there, I'll cut Keyshawn some slack. He's a football guy, NFL player. NBA, not really his forte, his expertise. But to call Jokic a quote-unquote bland player, I mean, that's a dead giveaway. This dude does not watch basketball. If you watch Jokic, he's the complete opposite of bland. His passing, scoring, high IQ plays, the dump-off passes, wraparound passes, and the lobs to someone like Aaron Gordon. If you call Nikola Jokic a bland player, I don't know which guy in the NBA you consider as exciting. And even worse than that, Keyshawn again gives away he's more of a box score watcher than actual game watcher. As he says straight up, Jokic's numbers, they tell a different story than his on-the-court play. Because, quote, on the court, he isn't imposing his will. Maybe it's just me, but Jokic's box score stats, his raw numbers, I'd personally argue actually underrate him as a player. As the little things he does on the court, the non-stat things, the hockey assists, the great screens, those things don't show up on points, rebounds, or assists, a normal stat sheet. And unlike some point guards, some great passers, Jokic for Denver isn't hunting for assists, force-fitting other bigs, or shooters on the perimeter. Everything Jokic does is within the flow of the offense and what's best for the team. The overall disconnect from the NBA media to actual fans who watch the sport daily, care about the sport, that gap is growing month by month, year by year. And I truly believe people watching this video in the comments right now, they could give better takes, better opinions, better votes than a lot of these people on national platforms. So, as always, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.